What's happening, y'all? Listen, first I want to say thank y'all for continuing to rock with the channel. For like the last couple days, man, the page been jumping, so I guess we done figured out a way to shake the algorithm a little bit. So, man, salute to all of y'all, man. I absolutely appreciate all of my day ones and all of my new subscribers. Thank y'all for coming to the channel and leaving comments in the comment section and just finding value in the content, man. But this video right here, we're going to talk about discernment. And the reason that I'm sharing this with y'all is because you know how you have a conversation with somebody and then you go back and reflect on that conversation, and then you start to realize like the advice that you gave to somebody else is like the same advice you should be taking in your own personal life and things like that. So it was one of those moments of a reflection for me, and I wanted to share that with you guys because this particular video is going to be about discernment and like why we need to utilize discernment in not only like the partners that we choose in our lives, but also in like the relationships, in all of the relationships that we build, like whether it's a business relationship or whether it's just a friendship or any of that kind of stuff. So this whole situation was prompted from a conversation that I was having with a young lady. we were discussing relationships, and she was just saying how she hates how the world is now, how, you know, there's so much you know, cheating and so many people doing dirt behind each other's back, and, you know, so much narcissism and all of the things that we talk about here on this channel, a lot of the stuff that a lot of us have been through. And she was just saying, you know, it's so disheartening to live in a world where you try to give your love to people and you try to go above and beyond for people, and they end up being the ones that stab you in the back in the end, or they be the ones that, you know, are toxic towards you in the end of the relationship or whatever. So as she was saying all of this to me, my whole response to her was, yeah, you know, I get where you're coming from, but I think that's where kind of like we have to meet God halfway. Like, you know, and I was coming from a standpoint of my understanding from, you know, what I had just went through in the narcissistic relationship, but I was also just coming from a spiritual standpoint of like, I actually believe that God gives us the tools to be successful in this life. And we have free will to use these type of things. We have free will to use. And one of those things I feel like, and I think that's why we have to ask for the gift of discernment. It's like a gift that we have to ask him for. And then once he gives us that, we actually have to use it. We have to actually apply it to our lives and to our daily business, whether it's, like I said, friendships, relationships, whether it's like literal business, any of that kind of stuff. I think we have to start learning how to use discernment better. And I didn't even realize that I had a perfect example for the situation until I had this conversation with this young lady. So while we were talking about, you know, like going through the whole discernment thing and just being able to like pick better people for your lives, and, you know, being able to see the red flags in people and things like that, I went back to the story from when I was in high school. So it made so much sense when I told it to her, so I wanted to share it with y'all real quick. So back when I was in high school, like, let's say I ran with a crew. I ran with like a crew of guys, you know, and in this particular crew, let's just say you had a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? You had the attractive guy that, you know what I'm saying, that all the ladies wanted. You had the football star, you had the basketball star, you had the street star, and then you had the, you know, all around type of dude that was just, you know what I'm saying, doing his thing. So I ain't gonna say who was who, you know what I'm saying, because people will probably be able to figure it out and all of that kind of stuff. But in this particular situation, I was dating this young lady, and this young lady was kind of like, she was kind of like a sleeper. It was like one of them type of situations where she was attractive, but she hadn't really grown into herself. So when I met her around like my freshman year, you know what I'm saying, all of that kind of stuff, right around like my freshman year, sophomore year, her and I was kind of kicking it real strong. And then we kind of stopped talking or whatever. She started talking to somebody else. And then she kind of came back and we started kind of kicking it again. And we kicked it again, like in my senior year of high school. So this is kind of like one of my exes, So fast forward in life, I go to college, all my friends, we all disperse, we go to college, we go to different schools. Me and a few of these people still go to the same school. So they ended up coming to college with me. So while we're all in college, the young lady goes to school in another state. Me and her still have ties with each other, but I guess things aren't where she would like them to be. And I'm not really chasing it because we're in two totally different states. We're both like, we're freshmen in college. I'm a ball player. She's like a cheerleader. She's doing her thing, whatever the case may be. And it was just kind of like the situation where, you know, the distance between us kind of kept us apart. It wasn't like no beef between us. We was always cool. We still got love for each other to this day, even after I tell y'all the story. But what ended up happening was I dated this young lady. We kind of broke up because of the distance of school. And then after college was over and everything, we all came back to the DC area, and the young lady and I started kind of dating again. So this time around, it's a little more serious. We're a little bit older, and you know, we're out of college and everything. So we're taking things a little bit more seriously now. So we're dealing with each other, and everything's going cool. And then she decided she wanted to go back to school again in another state, which that kind of, again, put a wedge between us because, again, I'm a young man. I was 21, 22, maybe 23 at the time, something like that. And, you know, I was pretty active out here, stuff like that, as far as just, you know, being the person that I am. I was a ball player. I was here, I was there. I was always, you know what I'm saying, in the mix. So she ended up going to school, I think in Ohio this particular time. And I guess because her and I had that wedge in between the situation again, she started, and I guess because I wasn't really chasing it, you know what I'm saying? I was just kind of like, well, I like her, she's cool, we get along, and we've known each other for a really long time, but just the gaps in the relationship, and not only just having the gaps in the relationship, but just myself being young, her being young, and then us being states away at the time. We never really saw each other no more, that kind of thing. So I ended up, like, she ended up going back to school, and we didn't talk for months and months and months, or whatever the case may be. And I ended up getting into a relationship with somebody that was closer here, that I like saw every day, that I, you know what I'm saying, that somebody that was accessible to me pretty much every day. So it was basically more so, I guess back then I chose the closer relationship as opposed to having like a long distance relationship, because I guess I didn't feel like a long distance relationship could work, you know, with our age group and some of the stuff that we were into, all of that kind of stuff. So anyway, she leaves, she goes to school, I end up dating somebody else. And her finding out that I started dating somebody else, it wasn't like, you know, we had literally broke up. We hadn't been talking for months, and probably almost a year. But once she found out that I was dating somebody else, it was kind of like this spitefulness in her where she just was like, oh, okay, bet he talking to that girl. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go smash all his friends. You know what I'm saying? So basically that's, you know, so she set out to start like like I said, I had this same group of friends since high school. So she started out trying her hand with like each one of them. And she knew like, you know what I'm saying? Any one of them, all of them like men, all of them are cold men. You know what I'm saying? When they come down to it, like they all are respectable men in their own right. You know what I'm saying? It's no hatred amongst us or any of that kind of stuff. But she knows that, you know, to cut me deep, it's going to have to be one of them. You know what I'm saying? To cut me deep, it's going to have to be somebody in this circle. So it's like she started shooting her shot at dudes in my circle. And this is where I say that we have to have discernment. We have to choose not only better partners in a relationship stance, but also better partners in like a friendship stance. So like I said, one of the particular friends was like the pretty boy. You know what I'm saying? He was like the pretty boy type. He was the one that he needed a lot of validation from women. You know what I'm saying? The same way the narcissists do. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of you guys that have gone through narcissistic abuse. Y'all know what I'm saying right now. But basically, he needed a lot of validation from women. So he got off on women telling him how handsome he was and how attractive he was. And then he, you know what I'm saying, when he started like growing his hair out and he got a whole new hairstyle and all of that kind of stuff, you know, a lot of the females started kind of flocking to him. And, you know, he ate the attention up. He was loving all of the feedback that he was getting from the ladies, all of that kind of stuff. So then you have like the football star, the basketball star, the street star. All of them were kind of validated in their own way. So think about this, and I want y'all to think about this, you know what I'm saying, like for real. So most of y'all were targeted because y'all can validate yourselves in other ways. You either, you're intelligent, you have a good job, you have this, you have that, you have things going for you where you're able to validate yourself. And a lot of times, narcissistic people, they can only validate themselves through their looks or maybe through their charm, through their sexuality, things like that. So you got one friend that he's been able to validate himself through football his whole entire life, pretty much, since he was a little tiny child. So he always kind of had that to feel good about himself. The basketball player, he kind of had the basketball to feel good about himself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Even the street star and all of that kind of stuff, even the ones in the streets, he built his name from the ground up, like in the streets. So it was like, you know, everybody was kind of solid in their own right. And the only like real chink in their armor was the one that really needed like validation from different women and all of that kind of stuff, because that particular one will cross any of the other ones just to get that validation. So when I was having this conversation, and I know a lot of you guys are going to have these kind of conversations, because empaths, it's something about empaths where we have something in us where we heal people when we talk to them. And a lot of times people will come and talk to you and like pour their problems out on you. That's why you have to kind of protect your energy, even from loved ones that you care about and that aren't necessarily narcissistic. It's like, because people will drain and suck your energy without even realize that they're doing it. And empaths, we give a lot of ourselves, and a lot of that needs to be saved and reserved for our own healing and our own journey and our own growth and our own development, all of the things that we're trying to do in life, all of the goals that we've set for ourselves. But basically, let me get back to the story. So basically, this one particular friend, and that's the one that needed all the validation, I should have saw that as red flags. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though this is my man, this is my right hand, I love him to death. You know what I'm saying? Still to this day, that's my man. It is what it is. Like, he you know, we've had a lot of, you know, ups and downs and things since then. And of course, the relationship isn't nowhere close to what it was. But at the end of the day, you know, my loyalty always stood. And even when his didn't, you know what I'm saying? So basically what ended up happening was the same female, she was trying all my friends, so she shot at one of them. He shot her down like, nah, that's my man. I would never do that to A. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? Go to the next one. Nah, hell nah. That's man, he like a brother to me. I would never do that to him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but all of the ones that were validated in their own way, to all of the ones that had something else that they could be proud of outside of just attracting women, you know what I'm saying? Because all of them, you know, all of them did their thing, you know, women liked them and all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, all of the ones that really had a way of validating themselves outside of that were like, nah, that's my man. I would never do that to him. That's my partner. I don't care if y'all was broke up a year ago, 10 years ago. Like, you like little sister me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I am with like, once you start talking to one of my friends, once, you know, I know you're in a serious relationship or anything, even if it's not even that serious, if I know that you're talking to one of my friends in like a romantic way, it's like you off limits to me. So I was always expecting my friends to be the same way. You know what I'm saying? And then on a relationship partner standpoint, I was always expecting, like, I would never go at none of her friends. Regardless of what happened between me and her, I would never go at any of her friends. I would never, like, you know, try to shoot my jumper at none of her people at all. So the fact that, you know, it was kind of like a double cross, because I felt like she crossed the situation and she crossed the line, because, you know, I would never shoot at any of her friends in that manner, like, you know, try to get at them or anything like that in any type of manner, because just off of my respect for her in that situation, even with her and I not being together. And on the flip side, for him, the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And what was even worse was like how I found out about it. So how I ended up finding out about it was, remember I said that the young lady, she had kind of shot her jumper at the whole crew. So she shot at this one, she shot at this one, she shot at this one. Let's say the second one that she shot at, she tried to get at, he turned her down, but we all got together one day and he actually told me about it. So he came in and he was like, listen, you know, I don't know how you're gonna feel about this, but he said it in front of the group. You know what I'm saying? He said it in front of the whole crew. So he's like, listen, I don't know how you feel about this, but I just want to be straight up with you, you know, man to man. Let's just say her name was Kiki. He's like, Kiki, you know, she tried to throw it at me one day. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking at her like, nah, hell nah, Adrian, my man, I would never do that. You know what I'm saying? I would never, you know what I'm saying? I would never cross him like that, especially without him knowing, like, behind his back and all of that kind of stuff. So when he opened it up, the other one started saying, well, damn, she shot at me too. Damn, she came at me too. That's how I started finding out that it wasn't just the one. She had actually tried all of them. You know what I'm saying? Now, like, let's say the first four was like, nah, hell nah, hell nah, hell nah, I would never do that. That's my man. I would never cross him like that. Nah, that's, you know what I'm saying? And then we get to the last one. The last one, he's the one that loves the attention from women, needs the validation. He's the, you know what I'm saying, the pretty boy one that really, the only validation he has on who he is as a person is through the women that he dates or through the sexual conquest that he can conquer. You know what I'm saying? So when it came down to him, like, okay, so in between, look, I'm skipping a part. So after everybody kind of said their piece, the first four, I was just like, damn, she shot her jumper at all y'all. Like, she really, you know, tried to get at all of y'all. And everybody was kind of like, yeah. And I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, you know, and I was, you know, just talking, but at the same time, I meant it at that time. You know what I'm saying? I'm a young man. So I was like, man, you know, if she wanted to be a hoe, then you should have treated her like one. And so that's what, you know, that's literally what I said out of my mouth. So I'm like, man, if she wanted to be a hoe, then, you know what I'm saying, I guess you should have treated her like one. Now, again, I'm a young man at that time. Forgive me, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I've grown since then. But, you know, at that time, that was my response. And you know, let's say when I finally said that, the last friend was kind of like holding his water. He didn't really want to say nothing. But when I said, when I made that statement, he was like, man, I'm glad you said that. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that I'm glad you said treat her like that, because, you know, I did. And when he said he did, I wasn't even, it was more so, I wasn't mad at the fact that they did it. I was more mad at the fact that, I mean, because like I said, me knowing him, me knowing who he is, I should have known that if he got the opportunity, like the other four, I knew them well enough to know that they would never. But I should have known that if he ever got that opportunity, that he would, because he may not necessarily want to cross me, but the validation to himself of saying, I'm the man, I'm that dude, like, he need that for himself. You know what I'm saying? He needs that to feel like, you know, who he is. And I guess even to be inside of the circle of friends that we hanging in. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the one-upsmanship when it come down to like, okay, well, I'm the football player, I'm the basketball player, I'm the this, I'm the that, I'm the this, I'm the that. Well, I could smash all y'all joints if I want to. You know what I'm saying? It's like the throw off or whatever. But that's still, like I said, this my man. It ain't no hating or no sucker shit in between none of us. You know what I'm saying? We still cool to this day. But it's just like, when it came down to it, it was just like the perfect example of being able to discern your friends better. And then I should have known that this particular friend was susceptible to that, because he needed a particular type of validation from women, and he only got that rise out of women. You see what I'm saying? I only saw him get that type of like zeal about himself, you know, when it had to do with him conquering some woman. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. So, and even him, he's grown since then. You know, everybody, like, most of my friends have gone on and got married and, you know, had children and things like that. So, man, shout out to y'all, man. If y'all see the video, man, I love y'all. But at the end of the day, y'all know what y'all did, man. It's all good. We talked about it. You know what I'm saying? We did squashed it. We done moved on past it. But yeah. So, like I said, I just wanted to tap in with y'all real quick and just give y'all this quick video on discernment, because, like I said, it's a lot of the red flags that I missed, even in my friendship with this particular person, was stuff that we, I think, as Christians or as, you know, just believers in God, I think that we're supposed to discern these things about people. We're supposed to see when people are needing particular validation from the outside world and things like that. When we're supposed to see these type of things and see that, okay, this person might cross me later on down the line because their love for money is, you know, like, it's so big that, you know, they'll cross their friend, they'll cross their brother, they'll cross, you know, their sister to go get it, or their love for sex, or, you know, their love for just validation from the opposite sex, that type of thing. So I honestly feel like if I had paid attention to those red flags even then, and if I had paid attention to those red flags dealing with the narcissist that I was dealing with, then I would have avoided a lot of my own personal heartache and pain, and just put myself in a vulnerable position of being in the crosshairs of somebody that could do harm to me. And just, you know what I'm saying, it's basically like feeding them the bullet. You're like, you know what I'm saying, you're putting yourself in the mix and being around them, and then you're also, you know, feeding them the bullet, because you're bringing the people around, you know what I'm saying, you're introducing them to people and all of that kind of stuff. So, man, Man, like I said, shout out to y'all, man. I love each and every last one of y'all. I hope y'all get what I'm talking about in this video. Man, we have to do a lot better with discerning who we allow into our lives. And I think part of, you know, I'm not trying to be a preacher or anything like that, but I think just from the aspect that we're, from where we're sitting in the spiritual journey, and like, this is definitely spiritual warfare. I honestly believe that God, once we ask for the gift of discernment, he'll allow us to have it, but then we have to actually apply it and use it. I think I had asked for it a long time ago, but and I was able to see certain things. It wasn't like I was just blind to whatever, you know what I'm saying? I was never green. Like, I'm from, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from it, you know what I'm saying? So when it come down to it, I was never like, I was always extremely street smart, and I was always, you know, but I was always super loyal, and I didn't think that people, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think that the ones that did cross me would. It wasn't that I was green to people crossing people. It was just that the particular ones that I thought that were going to be solid with me ended up, you know, switching later on down the line. And a lot of times that was just me wearing my heart on my sleeve, showing them what I wanted from them, and them just being that for that particular time, just to be around me and be close to me. And then next thing you know, once they get what they got, or, you know what I'm saying, once they cross you, then they got to roll out, be gone for a few years, and then they try to, you know, squeeze their way and weasel their way back in with like some wild apology or something like that. But like I said, I just wanted to tap in with y'all, man, and just talk about discernment real quick. Like I said, I hope y'all got the value in this video, man. I love each and every last one of y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with the channel. If y'all new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will be back with y'all in a minute. Love y'all.